Hello there. I'm going to talk and do something which is referred to as sight reading. And this is a subject which I've never ever heard another singing teacher talk about in terms of methodology or how they teach sight reading. I've never heard a choral conductor talk about it either. How do you actually teach sight reading? I've discussed sight reading with friends. How do they sight read? What do they find that's useful? I've discussed it with those people, but I've never heard anybody in a position of authority talk about sight reading. It's odd because it's a massive part of singing in choirs in classical music in Britain. Being able to sight read, people say, oh, that's the thing about British choirs, that they can sight read. But how do they do it? I couldn't sight read as a teenager, and it was really sort of my late teens that I started being able to. Because what I noticed was that choirs, they required you to, but I would just kind of stumble my way through pieces, and I wouldn't really know what I was singing. And then I realised that, well, okay, so I should probably take the music away and learn it at home. That's what I used to do. But I didn't have a single choir master or choral conductor who actually asked me how I did it. How did I sing this music? How did I hold the line? And then for some reason they're surprised when they give me a piece of music and I can't sing it. Because they don't ask. If you don't ask, it's extraordinary. What the classical music world is backwards when it comes to education. It's just hope for the best. Just put your people in a difficult spot, see if they rise to the challenge. That's not teaching, mate. Teaching is very much the same as nurturing. It's a process. For me, plainsong is something I'm trying to get better at, so that I can sing more effectively in choirs. But I will show you, warts and all, how I go through this process. So, because I've tried learning and I've tried teaching myself, and ultimately there's only so much information you can absorb, and you can also recognise how much you actually need in order to do a good job, or indeed to pretend like you know what you're doing. So, what I'm going to do is this clef here, the sort of this thing, that resembles the key notes. Now, because of where it sits, I'm absolutely going to think of that as a C. Now, the thing is, I don't necessarily need to think that as a C. I could, but the crucial point actually with plainsong, don't give yourself a note. You've got to just see the notes on the page, and you're not locked to that note. That's sort of the beauty of it. So it's just you have to imagine it, and that's kind of why it's beautiful, I suppose, because it allows you to just be free. So what I have to do is think. So the first line is a C, and then the bottom line is a D. So here we go. Ascendit Deus in jubilatione Dominus in voce. I went wrong. Voce tube. Right, so I obviously made a mistake where I said, oh, I went wrong. And it was difficult to correct myself because the problem with plainsong is you pitch everything from the note that you've come from because that's the only frame of reference. I mean, you can think of the clef constantly, and in a way you kind of do, but it's very easy to actually lose a sense of pitch with that. Also, although I'm feeling very chilled and lazy, ultimately conductors will want this faster. So I'm going to sing it again, try and just make myself sing a bit faster, but just make sense of it, a bit more ebb and flow, group everything in terms of twos and threes, and just feel the kind of beats, if you like. There's a sense of beat, but it's not beat in a musical sense, it's beat in a sort of time sense. That doesn't make any sense, does it? But it's a feeling. The beat is like a feeling, so... Ascendit Deus in jubilatione Dominus in voce. Good. Now, the thing is, that also wasn't perfect, and I can also see that somebody might want me to sing it louder or something. But effectively, I've taught myself how to do that. And I've actually spent a lot of time on trains just trying to imagine Plainsong and stuff. And the thing is, in order for you to sight read it perfectly, you've got to start with this. Like, there's no way I can sight read all Plainsong perfectly unless I can do this within the comfort of my own home. And that's why I think people should enjoy the sight reading process and learning to do it. And you know, actually, when you can do this more, then you can make sense of polyphony. And polyphony, as is shown with evidence, is literally an evolution of Plainsong. And actually, a huge amount of musical history is dependent on Plainsong. So I think people, if they want to embrace sight reading, should do this.